Welcome back to Petit Chateau Bleu. Today I am working on the closet. I'm just trying to get a fit and ultimately get it ready to go in place. I figure I need to have this in place before I put the door in or fit the door, just accounting for any fitment issues that may arise. And I have discovered one, so I'm glad I'm taking this approach. So today is a little bit about putting in the closet and fitment for the door. And the first two things I had to do to make this closet fit is one, notch out a little bit there so that I can fit around the new window frame. This window is a little bit farther along than the original, not by much, but just a little bit. So I had to cut out that little notch for it to fit. And the second thing is the dance floor sits about a half an inch higher than the original dance floor. So I had to cut half an inch off the bottom of the closet to make it sit nicely in here. But then I came to this edge here as it meets the door. Now when I took this thing apart, it had been industrial stapled. These two pieces here had been industrial stapled together, and I thought, well, that was a little weird. Why didn't they just use the rivets? Well, I know why. Let me show you. So I have the closet now fitting snug up against the door frame on the bottom, and I've got it sitting snug up against the door frame here on the top. Can't see because I'm looking into the sunlight, but yes, it's here we are. So I'm up tight against the trailer up here on the top. But what I wind up with is a significant gap all through here. And it comes together right about here. And as I look closely, I can see that right at this point, the boulder takes a short bend. It bends out. So what I need to be able to do is bring all this back in. There is a little bit of flexibility to it, but it's going to take a fair bit. And I thought what I need behind here is a structural member, and I'll probably have to use some bolts to pull that in tight. So here's what I'm doing. Got some of the plywood left over from the floor. It's 5/8 inches thick. What I did is I traced the shape of the curve of the closet onto this piece of wood so that it will match, so it's the same shape all the way along. And the idea is to slip that in here, and then I'm going to run a bolt through it. Now I don't have just one piece, I've actually cut two pieces. So it's going to be these two pieces together, being about 1.25 inches thick. I'm going to run a bolt through here, right through the side of the trailer, to try and bring the fiberglass in snug up against these members here. So first step is glue these guys together to make one solid piece. So I'm going to go glue and clamp that now, position it in place, and then drill a hole from this side out. In fact, I'll probably drill the holes in this member on the drill press so that I get a straight hole, and then I can just use that as a guide to get through the side of the trailer. So that's where I'm at the moment. So here is the laminated beam now put in place. You can see it sits right in there, cut to that curve. But I have just a little bit of a gap when I put the thing together right in here. So I'm just going to take this beam and I'm just going to shave a little bit off this area here so that I have an opportunity to draw this piece in just a little bit tighter. I'm also going to enlarge the top and the bottom hole just a little bit to allow a little bit of flexibility here. with the beam now contoured a little better, I'm at a point where I still have a gap, but it's enough that, you know, with my fingers I can bring it together. And I think with rivets, we'll be able to make this a much better join. Even through here, I got just a clamp, some light pressure on this clamp rather, bringing these two pieces together. There's a little bit of a gap through here, but again, with some rivets, I can bring this together with my fingers. So I'm confident that that is a much better fit. This is certainly a much sturdier structure with that beam in there. So I'm very happy to have done that, if for no other reason than to give it structure. I will have these bolts on the outside, but I think I can live with that. For what I'm getting out of it, it's going to be worth it. In fact, I'll probably have some bolts on this side as well, because we want to put in a structure here to support a screen door. So these might wind up looking symmetrical and be okay. Anyhow, that's where we are at the moment. Alrighty, I've been doing a fair bit of work here on this closet, filling in all the holes. There's a big hole there where somebody put in an off angle outlet. So patched that up, patched most of the staple holes up, cleaned off all the paint and the glue that was on this closet. I did a lot of I did some reinforcement of this edge here. Sorry, little reinforcement of this edge here. It was a little thin going through this portion, so I put another layer of fiberglass in there with the reinforcing bar behind it. Now I can bring this in very close. So I'm happy that this is going to fit up tight against the closet when we're done. I've done some work. I'll take you into the shop. The upper cabinet was in fairly rough shape. There were a bunch of holes where rivets had pulled through. There was a crack. The doors were shot. So I've taken that into the shop and cleaned that up. I'll show you that in just a second. And I spent some time now just getting rid of all of the foam that was left over from the end slate that was on here at one point. So we're ready now to put on a primer. We're going to use a sticky bullseye primer to cover the entire inside in preparation for the cork that's coming soon. You may notice I put the rear window and the front window back in. That's just temporary. We had some rain come through the other day, and I just wanted to make sure that we were sealed up for that. So let me show you the upper cabinet and the repairs done there. The bottom side of the cabinet, first off, there were just a whole bunch of holes drilled in here to hold on an under-counter light. In this area, there was an under-counter towel rack over there, a large hole for some power or something to go through, I'm not sure what, and various other holes that obviously had become disused over time. A bunch of holes here in the end. 3 of them were hold on a light fixture. I closed all the holes on the front here that were associated with the hinges and latches. I'll probably drill new holes for that. And in the corner, on the other corner as well, I had a problem here with the with some tear out where the fiberglass is broken away. So similar to what I did on the window, I put in some new fiberglass in here, and on the underside of it, I added another layer of fiberglass all around here just to kind of reinforce this whole section. So did a lot of reinforcement here in this corner. Had to do some reinforcement here where we had a break, chip away actually 2 places, here and here and here. So got fixed up those areas. And on this inside edge, I put in another reinforcing layer of fiberglass in here, because this crack that occurred on this side kind of manifested itself over on that side. So I just wanted to reinforce all of that. And of course, more reinforcement fiberglass down here on this corner, where basically I had to rebuild that corner. So So that's where we are with this upper cabinet. I'm ready now. I can put this back in. I'll do that right after the primer has been applied. I want to have this and the closet kind of in place. When putting on the cork insulation, I realize it's a bit of a pain to have to work in behind it, but I'm expecting that cork will be between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick by the time I'm done. And I don't want to have to try and wrestle with rivets through 1/4 inch of cork. So I'm hoping that's the right thing to do. Anyway, that's a quick update on where we are with the cabinets and the closet. I'm now working on the seats from under the bed, just stripping off this paint to get us back to a clean white finish. These will be painted again, but with a different paint. But these are just kind of really messy, and on top they're pretty messy as well. There's a lot of dirt on it, and just kind of the paint from one place to another is in really bad shape. So to strip this stuff off, I found this paint stripping wheel is the best thing to use, and making it go fast is really important. So I'm using my corded drill rather than my cordless drill. Once that's off, then I can go to my palm sander and my orbital sander just to get it a nice smooth finish, ready for some other paint. So that's the process I'm going through. I'm not going to film it because it is kind of a tedious affair and it takes quite a while. The other thing I have discovered on this seat, of course, right here at this corner, this is where the floor was rotted right out, and the rot continued right up into the wood on the bottom of the seat. So I've taken that wood out, and I'm going to have to laminate a new piece in here. I'll do that later. Right now I just want to focus on getting the paint stripped off this piece. And there's that piece cleaned up. That took a little while, a little bit more to do. I'll hand sand that, but that came out perfect. Bottom, or that side, it's gonna have a little bit of issue with paint, but I mean, I have to do a little bit more with paint on that, but overall very happy with the result. So that's our two bed seat rails. What do you want to call them? Seat brackets? Seats? Bed seats? Complete. Not quite complete. I have to do a little bit of fiberglass work on this one because of the rotted wood that was in it. That's a fairly minor job, and I'm going to do that off camera. You've seen me do a lot of that repair before. So yeah, we're all cleaned up inside the Boler. So everything in here has now been swept out, vacuumed up. We are ready to apply some primer. So we'll come back when we have that ready. So a little bit more work on the Boler now. We've cut out the section of the floor that's booked for the dinette. So what I'm about to do now is just put caulking all along these seams here, just along the top, all around the whole dance floor, and the joins that go there. Now this joint that runs down the center, in fact that joint in the floor and this joint in the floor have been caulked from the underside, but I'm going to caulk them from the top as well. This joint along here is a tongue and groove joint, so I'm pretty happy with how that fits. That little joint there at the top is not tongue and groove, so I want to make sure that I get that sealed. I'll probably also run caulking along the inside bottom edge, just to make sure that everything is sealed up tight. That bottom edge has been sealed from the outside, but again, I want to seal it from the inside. So we have caulking now on all the seams around the dance floor. So I'm very happy with that. That's nicely sealed up. It should be bug proof. And yeah, all the walls are scrubbed down. That's good. Our upper cabinet has been repaired. We want to prime the inside of that cabinet as well, just to make it look a little brighter. It's kind of dingy, the paint that was in there. And I have the lower seats all cleaned up. The fiberglass repair work is just setting that I had to do on that. And yeah, our next step will be priming. So I'm going to call that a video for today. A bunch of little cleanup work and prep work, ready for primer. And after the primer's been applied, Then we're going to do the cork insulation. So we're getting close. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.